I'm John Twist of University Motors. Today I want to show you how to polish your SU carburetor suction chambers. So this is not a bad looking suction chamber, unless you look at the inside of it. But you know, it's just a normal, it's rough. But we can make this look a lot nicer. Actually, we're not going to make this one look nicer because I've already started to prep on this one. So I've taken the sandblaster and I've just sandblasted around the top on this boss here that on the very early carburetors is drilled for the dustless carburetors, and I've sandblasted down here around the ears. Now I'm going to put this on a mandrel. This is the slickest thing. You can make a mandrel yourself and drive it with a drill. I'm going to drive it on a lathe. Got a hole in the end, tapped it, put him in. I've got this guy so that we don't end up holding the suction chamber with our tool itself, in this case the lathe. But you can do this at home just with a shaft and get creative. So there we go. So I've got a whole selection. I stopped this morning at Napa and I've got 80 grit, double that about, you get 180, double that about, you get 400, double that, you get 800, easy for me. Let's bend over and pick this up. 800, double that, and you get about 1500. So we're gonna go halvesies. The first two we're gonna do dry. The second three we're gonna do wet. Then we'll polish it up and look at it. You won't see the whole thing. We're gonna stop and start. You don't want to watch me standing on the lathe there for an extra 3 minutes, although I can tell lots of stories. Let's go over to the lathe. Here we are at the lathe. I know most everybody doesn't have a lathe, although I got this one, a South Bend lathe, used for a couple $1,000. Oh my gosh, you can see by all the crap on it that I use it. I don't clean it. I know those out there, those of you who are machinists are gonna go, oh my God, I can't believe he's using a lathe, you know, for this kind of work, and oh, it's so dirty and everything, but that's what I do. So we're gonna spin him up and take the 80 grit paper and smooth him out. So here we go with 80. We haven't got everything off there. We could work this a little further and get all the little errors out of it, but this is good enough. Now we're gonna go with 180. We'll make him really smooth at 180. I should have bought better paper. So here we got 180, and it's a little smoother. Remember, this is a real machine, and real machines do not have a conscience, and they will grab you and tear your finger off, or I'm being pretty, I've used one of these a long time, pretty used to it, but always be careful. So now we got our 400 paper, and we're gonna go, I think we're gonna use this dry. We'll try 400 on it. And then we'll jump to our next paper. Up to our 800 paper. You can see the surface continues to get, you know, just a little smoother, of course, because we're using ascending grades of paper. But by now, we're going to have to use water on this. You can see the track from doing these before. I know anyone with a lathe is like, oh my God, I can't believe he's being so awful to this thing, but anyway. So now it's wet. And it's wet with a solution of water and Palmolive dish soap. And the water's to carry away what we're sanding off the aluminum. Otherwise it clogs up the paper. Now we're up to our 1500 paper. You can see that with that 800, it's gotten pretty nice, but still here are these flaws that we could have taken out, you know, if we'd worked with that 80 paper some more. But this is going to look really nice when it's done. So let's hit this with some 1500 now. 1500 paper is hardly even sandpaper. It reminds me of the back side of the toilet paper that I first encountered when I visited England in 1962. I never quite understood their toilet paper. It was like waxed on one side and 1500-aught sandpaper on the other. So we're going to do this just a little bit longer, and then we'll take it off and walk over to the buffing wheel. So here's our suction chamber. He's smooth. He's not really polished yet, but he's smooth, very much smoother than when we started. There's still the little tiny flaws in it. And we're going to kick on our wheel, and for as long as our cameraman wants to stand here. A comment though, that wheel can pull this out of my hand in an instant. It lands on the ground and it bends and it's junk. So you have to hold on to him for your life. Right now I'm only polishing that part that was sandblasted before, and not still looks nice. You can just take a regular suction chamber and put it on the wheel. Oh my gosh, that'll look nice after a while, but it won't look as nice as this is going to look. So sometimes, well not sometimes, all the time that you're doing this, you're creating a lot of heat. And sometimes it gets difficult to hang on to the pieces that you're polishing. So a shop rule is that next to the wire wheel and the buffing wheel, you've got a bucket of water that you can put this thing in and just cool him off, or else your fingers burn up. This is a messy operation. You can see it's starting to look pretty shiny here, so we'll come back when it's all done. So here we go. You know, it looks pretty nice. If you look at it, I can see myself in it, but it looks like one of those mirrors at the sideshow. So anyway, this is the way to do it. You can stand all day here and just buff on the original one, and it looks really nice. You know, there's all sorts of things you can do. I've seen them anodized. I've seen them spray painted silver. This looks great, but we get a lot of surface area here, and aluminum loves to corrode. So the only way to protect this is occasionally to dust it all down, spray it all down with a WD-40. So I know there's enough oil underneath the car anyway, but most oil goes to the rear and it goes down. It doesn't go up onto the carburetors. So at some point you'll see these back on my daughter's car. So that's the way. Takes a while. You got to have the mandrel. You got to be really careful. You got to have a buffing wheel. I know there's a special rouge for chrome, for aluminum. I don't use it. I just use red rouge for everything, it works okay. There are systems that do work better, absolutely. So anyway, be sure to visit my website, universitymotorsltd.com. Go to the top ribbon and sign up for our newsletter. Until then, this is a dirty job. Until then, safety fast.